Can I close that window though?
I'll close these doors too.
Do you need to get some water? How are you, Miss Rosanna? I haven't heard from you much this week.
I'm a little tired today.
Are ya?
Yeah. Mishaps with the movers not showing.
Oh no.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
It's okay.
That
I'm
sucks.
so tired. Tom's like
You're
really,
planning.
he's hurting all over. He wasn't expecting to move the whole stuff by himself.
Oh, that's not cool.
Okay. Okay, so in our last meeting, we sent out the student dress for patron feedback.
Right.
So again, we did get a lot of comments.
Did we?
And then there were several people that asked. I couldn't print it because it would be too small and you can't read it. So
Right.
when Rosanna pulls up policy, if she can just pull it up right there where it says patron feedback. Thank you. Yep, right there. So we can sift through it, and then again, you have it in the drive as well.
Okay.
I did respond to everybody, except for one. There was a student that requested a response, but her response was, "Hello, board members," and so I wasn't sure if you wanted me to respond or if you would prefer to do it yourself. Just
Gotcha. Okay.
so I held off until I got more direction from you, but here it all is. So.
Pull that part up.
And I actually put it under policy, the actual policy, so under our stakeholder input in the drive. So it's
Okay.
listed under 3255.
Okay.
I think we got, last time I checked, we were close to 40, I think. Is my
40.
number accurate?
40 now.
Oh, yeah.
One more.
That's what I thought.
Oh, no, more.
47.
47 minus 1, 46.
Yeah. My brain's not failing me.
Oh, so staff wants us to ban hats? Okay.
So I did do additional follow-up specific to when we met last time about this, and I had talked to the admin team because you know, I haven't had anybody that's jumping on the bandwagon to come to the board meeting for June, and so I was like, what's the hesitancy? Well, in talking to each of them individually, they're not all on the same page, and so nobody wants to come and represent the whole, because there are some that would prefer hats and they don't mind hats. There are some that are adamant they don't want hats.
Well, we need to hear that. I mean, they don't have to be collective mono-brain. That's not what we're asking. What
Right.
we're asking is for input.
That's what I said.
And that's the problem we keep running into, just like some of these responses, is that what they don't see is that we have trustees who said, please look at this again. We have
Right.
admin that said, or staff that said, look at this, and we have community members that said, look at this, so we're
Right.
looking at this.
Yeah, some of the comments that that people asked me to follow up with was specific to why are you guys looking at this again. So I explained that we actually did add it as an annual policy. It will be reviewed every single year, but we then additionally had a trustee that asked for it to come back up just because there were some pretty minor changes a year ago, and so
Right.
then are we still so my plan is to send out another email of like, you don't have to talk for the whole, but just say that you're differing, and then, you know, ultimately the board can make that decision. But nobody wants to dictate this is what we do when middle school looks different than high school and they're differing in their opinions.
I highlighted number 7, just so we know.
Yeah, they didn't read the rest of it. But I did the same thing.
Okay.
I mean, not highlighted, but when I first read
Yeah.
the policy, I did the same thing. Oh, okay. No. I had a different interpretation when
I think this is specific to the hoodie over the head during school hours.
Correct, and I don't know that, I guess I don't understand why people don't comprehend the fact that a head covering is a hat.
Right.
or the hat portion of a hoodie.
Yeah.
So I guess that's where, I mean, I just get so exhausted with having to,
Well,
then is a baseball cap really a hat?
Right.
And what about a beanie?
Right.
So that's where I'm kind of like, I get what they're saying though, but then I think if you start saying hoodie, to me a hoodie is actually a garment that you're wearing.
Right.
It has that little hat portion, but
then I think then it becomes the letter of the law, and then if you
Right.
don't list everything in its entirety, then there's a loophole versus I think head covering is comprehensive in nature.
Right.
But I had a couple of parents reach out to me in this specifically, even about taking off principal designee or admin designee, and I said that the goal is that whoever that person in charge of the building for that day, it's encompassing all of that. They're not trying to eliminate
Right.
one or the other.
Right.
It's just encompassing. So, but we're trying to not have them be 5 pages long because you could literally list that twice. So they understood that, but
Right.
even people questioned that of not adding, because when they can see both of them, they see that it was there and now it's not.
right.
So
Well, I think the bottom line is, for me, when I read the policies and we've got the big kahuna, but then we've also got all these other people that, the power can just go everywhere. I would really like there to be a solidarity with every building's responsibility lies on the shoulders of the principal.
there's a stopgap.
Yeah, and it's like, if that principal is totally fine with saying, you all have the control, they can make that choice with the understanding that when there's a problem, they're the ones held accountable.
Right.
So,
Because
I
then
know.
it forces you're either building the capacity of the people underneath you
Yeah.
so that they understand, and you're generalizing whatever those practices are. And there isn't all these, this person does it this way, this person, and then it's subjective in nature. I mean, that's what you're trying to avoid, which
right.
I 100% agree with.
I don't understand why they answer yes, no, deny. I mean, I guess they're saying they don't agree with it, like no question was asked. I mean, what was the question? In C, column C.
I'll pull it up and tell you what the exact wording is. You have access to it, but I'll just pull it up.
Column C is just the title of
Yeah.
the policy.
Okay.
It just says policy 3255 student dress. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So.
With the idea that then in the top of it, it says please provide input in the space provided below for each policy. So when we add different policies,
Okay.
So
we'll
could-
just list that and it just say if you refer to the attached files. If you would like additional information or follow-up, please contact us. So it kind of gives the explanation at the very top, and then it just lists the policy. So I think when they are saying yes, they're saying they agree with it. It's like one parent says mostly agree, see comment below. She doesn't like leggings.
Explicit language. Okay.
This one's so big I can't. Let's see.
That's why I couldn't print this for you guys.
We need
No,
to
that's
wrap
fine.
this,
Is there one you want me to click up here one moment for you to see bigger?
well, the thing is that even at wrapped, it's outside of the. Okay, I got it. It was outside of the cell.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's fine. It's not you.
So explicit language, explicit symbols or innuendos. So they want the buck fighting and let's go Brandon shirts. yeah, some of these staff comments to the point where it's like, you know what? Let's just go to a uniform if we can't, you know.
One of the parents I talked to was concerned about the fact that apparently it's popular not to wear undergarments right now. So.
Well, we can't tell them what to put on under their clothes, you know.
Right, that's
it's
what
like,
I said. I was like, well.
kind of like saying, make sure you wipe. Yeah, no, that's not my job. Or bring that extra pair of panties just in case you're in a car accident. Because you don't want dirty underwear in the hospital. I never understood that, but whatever.
How about if you just not get in an accident?
Yeah, that would be ideal, wouldn't it?
But have my go bag with extra underwear.
Well, that's awful wide. People with big hands. So this person sent an email, number 18. There was no comment, it just, oh no, they said that was their preferred method of contact, but a follow-up. Huh.
And I emailed that person,
Okay.
but they haven't responded to me.
Okay.
So remind me, did we say that, because certain times it's important for students to remove their footwear?
Yeah, remember we took
We
it
had
out
that
because we just
discussion.
said, you know, like, well, when they go in the shower, they,
Right,
and
right.
so
Okay.
we took it out. And so I think some of these comments are because they can see the old policy, and so
Right.
then they're questioning why that was taken out. And if I remember, again, this was 2 weeks ago, we kind of felt like it was common sense, like, sometimes
Right.
kids are gonna be on the grass, sometimes they're gonna be in the shower, like,
Right.
they're old enough to kind of.
No leggings or tights for girls?
Well, I think the problem with that, and some of the schools are going to that, is that they become worn as pants
Yeah.
with crop tops.
Yeah, and they're not the expensive ones that are thick, and so they're see-through.
Yeah,
So
I believe. I mean, I don't know. They
that's
would have
exactly
to,
what
have
it
to
is.
clarify, but that's what I've noticed other schools are. You have to cover certain parts of your body. But
Multiple, I've heard people complain about that.
Yeah.
Other parents have said.
And then the no undergarments coincides with that.
You're right.
But honestly, that could be said for, there's really thin dresses that people wear. I mean, this sounds really bad, but if you're gonna show your parts, there's lots of ways to do it outside of leggings. Very nice.
I don't know. You can argue everything, I guess. There are certain people that have an autoimmune disease called lichen sclerosis, which sometimes makes it impossible to wear undergarments. It's a pretty horrible disease, but I mean, I get the point.
Tell me about that disease, that's really interesting.
Hmm?
Because if they can't wear undergarments, how can they wear clothes?
It's very hard.
Really?
Yeah.
That's interesting.
And it flares, causes fissures in the skin and all kinds of things. Yeah, it's
Wow.
bad disease.
Isn't it similar to, I've heard people say that with fibromyalgia, it's the same, like bras
Yeah.
are hard because it
Yeah.
just like, it's like stinging the skin. And,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
And it just causes nerve endings to fire off. Yeah.
Yeah, you feel like you're on fire. I used
Mhm.
to say it's like rolling in insulation, but then people thought I was talking about being itchy. It's like, no, that's not what I mean.
Different, right? Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but lichen sclerosis, I think, is probably worse because it's well, I don't know if it's worse, but, well, I don't know, it looks like it's pretty painful because you have, you know.
Yeah, and probably there's varying degrees.
Yeah.
Same as my
Mhm.
fibromyalgia.
I'm telling you, if we just went to a uniform.
I know.
Oh, so, we said, I guess we changed the wording from will to should according to 24. We went from students will wear footwear at all times to students should be worn at all times, or footwear should be worn.
Like 25 wants you to
Yeah.
have oversight with hair color.
I mean, the board, I guess, can decide to do whatever it wants to do, so I mean, we bring, you know, maybe we bring some of these concerns to,
And maybe this is part of the, when you bring this policy,
Yeah.
you bring up the comments
yeah,
so that people are seeing, cause this was one, we knew this was gonna be meaty and you'd get a lot of comments on it.
right.
And I left a message with anybody that left me a phone number. Some of them have responded, some haven't.
Okay.
I like to see.
Well, I think it's confusing for people too, because they see Michelle and myself sitting here and they think this is like a board thing, but it's not. It's like
Right.
we need other people to show up,
Well,
you know?
and the ones I talk to, I mean, I try to invite them. You know, we would love input, you can
Mhm.
absolutely come in. We really don't want
We
it to
should
be a
ask-
four-man show.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. We should ask if the time or day was changed, would there be more?
In the next stakeholder input, do you want me to have that be one of the questions?
Yeah,
Or do
thank
you
you.
want that to be a standalone? Do you want that just to be a Skylar, like just around policies, and we could send out, since it's in June, we could send out a thank you people so far for giving your input, it's really appreciated.
I think both, maybe we just do well, I don't know, maybe it just becomes part of the policy review, you know, would you be able to physically participate if, you know, the day and time was different, or
Okay,
the time, or, I mean, I don't know, I'm curious, you know, or if they just like doing it this way.
maybe I can just, in the next time we send something out for review, I can just put in there a couple of dates and times, like, you know, morning versus afternoon, and then just see if people say they'd be willing to participate if we change the time, and just see how many
Yeah,
actually give some feedback to that, and I can just give like 4 options. I'll play around with that and then have you guys look at it.
I'd really like to see if there's grant funding for school uniforms, because I'm really to the point, because I'm tired of being bashed on social media.
Do you want me to look that up?
Yes, I
Okay.
would.
Grant around school
yeah,
uniforms.
31, that's what they said. And they think that the policy is, gender biased.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it is, although there was, one person up there that said, you know, we need to consider sheer tops for men and for boys, men and women.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, guys wear sheer tops. But then it said with appropriate undergarments underneath, and I'm like, so what undergarments? I mean, boys aren't required to wear undershirts under their shirt.
Right.
So, I mean,
Mm-hmm.
this is just.
I mean, clothing in
uniforms.
nature is going to be that way, yeah.
Right. I'm ready for uniforms.
And like 33, he's saying no new policy should be adopted, and again, I reached out to him, he has not called me back.
Okay.
But so I'm trying to just explain to them, like, there are annual policies, you're not just arbitrarily changing this, so there's annual
Right.
policies, and
Right.
but some of the comments, they don't understand that.
Right. Apparently.
Right. So,
And most, this probably is not, but most of them are dictated by the law, that we have to, you know.
mhm. So Ramona, I think you're on 35, and I did
Mhm.
reach out to her. She's a staff member, and she was just like, if anybody really, you guys have additional follow-up and would love a conversation. She was like, I don't have anything in particular, but if you had questions, I absolutely would be willing to talk, so.
I don't understand why head coverings needs to be specific.
Well, I had questions about head coverings because the first thing that popped in my mind was religious head coverings. You know, I didn't
Is
see
it jihad or what's that?
hijab.
Hijab, yes,
Yeah,
thank you.
well, and
yarmulke.
yarmulkes, yeah. I mean, there are several different, religions that have their head coverings for certain things. But that was when I read head covering, I didn't read hats. I read that it had something to do with their faith or their personal belief or whatever. So because we address, or the policy addresses hats, right? It addresses hats.
I think we put it as all encompassing under head coverings.
Oh, and then made the statement that religious or blah 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 blah.
We did, yeah.
Yeah.
Because we were thinking, because to Michelle's point, you have beanies, it's a whole slew,
Beanies,
so
bandanas,
do you
cowboy
list
hats,
every single
baseball
thing?
hats, caps. And that's the thing, it's like when
Fedoras.
yes.
Right.
Yeah, skull caps. I mean, it's like when they change the name of a baseball cap to a flat bill, it's like, well, so then is it really not a baseball cap anymore?
Right.
How, I'm.
And if we list a bunch of items and then we accidentally leave one off, then that's the loophole.
Exactly. And it's like, okay, so then anything you wear on your head, so then, you can snap your ball cap to your, that's the problem. It's like, which, I don't know if it is a problem or not, but it seems like people take the rule and they figure out, how can I break it?
Mm-hmm.
Not how can I follow it, not how can I support it. It's, let me see if I can find that loophole.
Where's the angle? Where's the workaround?
So, I'm not gonna be advocating for a uniform. I'm sorry. I'm tired of being trashed for doing my job, and while I understand what the majority of these people are saying, the only solution is a uniform. Everybody wears the same pants, same shirt.
Well,
same-
that's not the only solution. The only solution is just to scrap it all and have a free for all, like everything else we do today in society. So, that's really how it operates anymore. There is no norm.
I know.
So,
And people are polarized.
yeah.
I know.
You're
You
not.
know.
You're gonna half of the population. People will love it, and the other half is not gonna like it.
We'll see, and that's why I would
And
like
that's
to
the
know.
nature of the beast.
I'd like to know if there's grant funding out there for
Yeah,
uniforms.
I will look
because
into that.
I know that, if the board chose to say, okay, we're done playing these games, we have staff that will comply, staff that won't comply, staff that, it's above their,
Nobody
whatever.
can agree anymore.
Exactly.
That's how laws come about, because people cannot regulate their own selves.
And so, I want to make sure that we are inclusive of all of our students,
Right.
including those at Mountain View.
Mm-hmm.
Therefore, we need to find a solution.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah,
I'll look into it.
okay.
See if there's.
Because if there's,
I'll reach out to the state and just see if there's any kind of I would imagine there could be some attached to rural funding, because
Mhm.
we're classified as that, and so
Mhm.
just to see if, put people that are always looking at grants,
Mhm.
they may find one that I don't know about, so.
And, you know, I wouldn't even, I actually think it's kind of a cool thing, but like, each school has their own mascot,
Mhm.
each school could have their own emblem on their shirt, I don't care.
Right, but
I
the
just-
basic uniform is the basic
uniform is the same,
Mhm.
but. But yeah, that's where I'm leaning. So, a constant theme throughout all these things, number one is the head coverings,
Mhm.
and,
Rosanna, can we pull up policy, the new one? It's linked into that green doc, 3255. Cause we say head coverings are not allowed in the school building during regular school hours. However, a principal may make an exception to this policy for a school function or event. But Ramona, you made a comment earlier, and I don't see anything about an exclusion specific to religious.
It was in there, let me see if you, scroll down, it was after all of that. Let's see, yep, keep going.
There's just a blank.
Oh, it's under accommodations.
Yeah.
Okay. It's not directly after that, but it's a whole,
Right.
okay. Which actually is perfect. I just didn't see it, so.
I did the same thing when I first read it, and then I was like, oh, here it is.
Yeah,
think
I knew
Michelle
we had
brought
it
to
in
me.
here, but I
Yeah.
thought, is this one of the things we crossed out? But.
That is such a dumb statement.
The no student shall be required.
I mean, I guess it's applicable, in some places, but,
I really don't understand why is it there?
well, I can see again, ethnicity and religion written in it. Hasidic Jewish people, people of color,
Shall be required to modify?
mhm. Yeah, it should be, it's a shall not statement,
Yeah.
you know? And I think this hair straightening thing was actually, a legal issue so many years ago, if I remember right.
Well, wasn't there a case law, incident, there was a federal incident related to hair and
Yeah.
somebody cutting and somebody requiring
Yeah, yeah.
someone to shave. and-
Yeah, I
yeah.
vaguely remember.
It was probably 5 or 6 years ago.
Yeah,
I can't remember the specifics, but I think it went all the way federal.
yeah, I believe you're right.
So now, okay, because so the head coverings are not allowed in school buildings during regular school hours. So they're taking that as hats are now allowed?
Which one are you on?
Oh, I'm just, I'm on the policy itself, reading what we wrote about head coverings. Cause yeah, we just made it like short and sweet, but everybody keeps like, hats are now allowed, hats are now allowed.
So
It's
could
like,
we just put, something where examples, could we just put in parentheses, hats, beanies, caps, and just, but not an exhaustive list? And like maybe say that, it's not an exhaustive list.
Well, I mean, if we're gonna be fair about it, it has nothing to do with manners. And it has everything to do with being able to identify the face. So if we're gonna be honest, what it should say is anything that obstructs the security cameras from facial recognition is not allowed. I mean, that's what it came from. I think it's being sort of dishonest to say it's a hat. That's not the point. The point is that we can't identify you when you have a ball cap on.
well, but they can if the ball cap is on and the bill is up.
Well, one of the principals
Maybe.
actually says they feel like it's easier because you tend to stick to what you normally wear. So he was like, I don't mind it. It's not a safety issue for me because I actually can identify people more by their hats than I can.
Well, yeah, because guys will usually,
Yeah.
and maybe some girls,
Yeah.
but I know traditionally guys wear them, their favorite. I got
Teens,
a
whatever.
I got a 6-year-old grandson that has a favorite
Right.
hat.
Well, and a
that he
lot of
wears
them
all the
now, I
time.
mean, they're turning them backwards.
Right.
Yeah.
But I mean, that was the comment that came in.
Right.
It wasn't about showing respect or anything else.
Well, I guess all we can do is highlight this paragraph and bring it
Yeah.
to the board. And say, look, here how the people have spoken. The head coverings is an issue.
Right.
And of course, the specificity with clothing is an issue. So
Right, and the thing is that we're trying to be, in most all of the policies, there is no specificity for a specific reason.
right.
Look at that, was I said that twice.
But you're actually really trying to help and give some guidance.
Right.
Well, when you have our staff members that are crying for help, and you try and help them,
Right.
and then they're like, yeah, but not all of us want to follow those rules, so you're not helping. Make it broad. Well, then you make it broad, and then it's like, what do? We can't stop it. So it's.
But I
we need
think what
uniform.
we talked about before is the more objective we make it, the better off, because then it's not conditional on the
Right.
person. And
Right.
so this is a perfect example. If we make it super subjective, then one building is gonna do one thing,
Right.
so that's where I think this one just gets hard because you guys are really trying to do due diligence and make it objective as possible.
Well, and the unfortunate thing is, I don't like being, saying that it's very, the policy's biased. Unfortunately, female clothing is the problem we have the most, is the issue we have the most problem with.
Right.
So,
Yeah, in other places they have the low pants and that kind of thing, but we
Mhm.
don't have that problem, it doesn't sound like. It is really the revealing clothing.
well, and we can put that in there. Your pants need to be wrapped around your waist, not around your tuchus. I mean,
Can you put tuchus too?
We can. As long as the board proves it. Put whatever you
Somebody's
want in
gonna
there.
ask for a definition.
Took us in hoo-ha, what do you, it's just not fair.
That's
Some of
funny.
the things that pop through my head. Oh.
Okay, it's Friday. We only had 2 hours of sleep.
Thank goodness it's Friday.
We sat on the tarmac for hours.
Oh, that
Oh
sucks.
no.
Yeah, we were just like, oh, I felt really bad for this family. They were sitting next to us and baby was probably 18 months old. And first flight, it's, at this point it's 11 o'clock at night, so baby's not sleeping. They just kept apologizing to me. I'm like, I'm a mom. It's totally fine.
Yeah.
I get it. So they're just like, I'm so sorry, because she was crying, and I'm just like, you're not, I'm good. But There are a couple of comments specific to the skirts.
Colleges, yeah, really, colleges do not have dress codes and everything works out just fine. Okay, don't know if I agree with that. Mm. Our bodies are not distracting. Okay.
What number is that?
44. It's from a student.
Oh.
It's normal to have holes in our jeans.
Well, I guess they should think about if their comment was applicable to the staff that they're exposed to every day. Would they think that their bodies are distracting?
Right. Right.
Well, and this is the one where she says, "Hello, school board."
Yes.
So I
Yeah.
didn't respond because I thought it might
Yeah,
be
that's
more
fine.
appropriate if it's one of you guys, and I will if you'd like me to. But because she literally said hello,
Yeah.
I just thought, well, I'll give you guys the choice, and you can tell me what you want me to do.
Well, and I mean, we're talking 47 responses mixed of parents, students, and staff. We have how many students in our district?
Right.
Which equates to at least double, if not more, parents.
4,700 students,
Right.
roughly.
So, I mean, we have a minimum of 4,700 parents, which would put us at 9,400 bodies.
Right.
On top of
This is
staff.
less than 1%.
Exactly.
Right.
So
And then you
yeah.
add staff, and that makes it even less than probably 0.3%.
Right.
Or, yeah, 0.03%. You got me.
Not worried. So yeah, I mean, maybe the minority shouldn't be pushing me towards a dress code, but or a dress uniformies, but they are. Well, I mean, we'll just, since the biggest issue that was pointed out is the head coverings, because people are now thinking that hats are allowed, because nobody thinks of a hat as a head covering. I say, and they thought the rest of the language was fine, other than, you know, we shouldn't be scrutinizing what people wear. The only thing is we do say, and I think there is a valuable, oops, where it is, valuable point. Did I highlight that one? No, it was the one right below that. I'm gonna highlight it. I don't think I wanted that color. Let me make it not very smart. Not that color. Here we go, that's a little better. We do say, yeah, but I don't know. This one parent who is also a staff member and a community member, wants explicit language and explicit symbols or innuendos.
But we purposely took that out. Because I read that one specific to, that's where all of we took this language out where it said, all of the tattoos, the jewelry, the body piercings, the cosmetics, the picture symbol, word, drugs. We kind of wanted that to be all encompassing of alcohol and drugs. It's on page 1.
No, I know. Students are not to wear or carry items of apparel which depict or allude to alcohol and tobacco, controlled substance, drug paraphernalia, gangs, violence, sexually explicit, and pornographic images. or illegal acts, which, I mean, we were all about the gangs.
But she has an issue specific with the Buck fighting and looking
Right.
at Brandon, but, I mean, I feel like Megan O'Dowd would come back and say, as long as it's not disruptive, it is,
Right.
it's their free speech. Maybe you say no political shirts.
I don't know that
Or
we
you go
can.
back to your uniform, right?
Uniform,
Yeah.
because then
Yeah, I don't think you can say no.
I don't think you can,
No.
because it is a freedom of speech, and
Mhm.
even though I figure the policy itself is, sexually explicit and pornographic images, that's, 'cause they would, explicit language, which I'm assuming what they're saying is they don't want foul language, which there's no foul language in that. You have to draw your own conclusion.
Well, and if I remember, and I have to go back and look at my notes, but when Megan O'Dowd comes every year and just kind of will talk to us about court
Right.
case law and what's happening, and we specifically asked about this question, and she even said, like, you can't even step in just because you think there's a foreseeable problem, like
Right.
when there's no evidence of a foreseeable problem, like you can't just assume something bad's gonna happen.
Right.
If there is foreseeable assumption,
Right.
but she's like, that can be gray. But she said if somebody's just wearing a shirt and they're not doing anything, you really, I mean, those freedoms don't walk out the door just because they walked into your school.
Right.
So we specifically asked about that because that's when that was happening, and then we asked the flag question.
Right.
And she said they can't wear capes, you don't let people wear capes, but if they wear a flag shirt,
Yeah. Let it
so-
fly high.
unless it becomes disruptive.
Right. But, I mean,
And most of the time, from my experiences, the disruption is less about the wearing and more about the conversation that the student themselves start eliciting from it. Like they will look at my shirt, look at da-da-da,
right.
instead of just going about their business wearing their shirt.
Okay, well, I don't think there's much.
So for Rosanna and I, we're making a list of policies for the June board meeting. Rosanna, will you go back up to policies for board consideration and then go to that bottom part where it says policies for June board meeting? This is what we have so far, so I linked in the student dress one. Do you want me to add in for Rosanna that will actually give them the link for the stakeholder input as well?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I think it's, a shirt that may be worn which touch April's pants. From students will wear.
But we won't make the patron feedback open to the public just because there's email and phone numbers, correct?
No, what was that? What?
When she posts it, it won't be visible to other
Correct.
people just because there's
Yeah.
some personal information
Right.
on there, so. Rosanna, does this help you?
Absolutely, yes,
Okay,
thank
if
you.
there's a better way for me to do that, just tell me.
No, this is perfect.
Okay.
Thank you.
I don't see it crossed out on here. They say it said
What number are you on?
24. Well, I am concerned about number 22, that staff are seeing students without underwear.
The one that I reached out to was specific to bras.
Okay.
The number 22 was specific to bras.
Well, there are other countries that don't wear them. I mean,
Or the girls will wear sports bras, and
yeah.
I mean not just as a shirt but underneath, and yeah, so.
Oh my gosh. Policy should include hairstyles and a minimum hair color. Only natural colors and shades. Yeah, no, can't go policing that. Okay. We went from students will wear footwear at all times to footwear should be worn at all times. I didn't do that, somebody else did that. Cause I showed footwear should be worn at all times.
We wrote, yeah, we said should be, but I guess in the old policy it said must be, or there was more directive language.
Pull it up.
But we did say we weren't gonna put in there, like, we were gonna let people use some common sense, like, if you go in the shower, you probably should wear some flip-flops, but some people don't, and we weren't gonna require that.
I don't show it on here, on the one that was just approved last year. Footwear.
Is that not? Oh, it is.
It's right here on this policy. It says unless the principal indicates otherwise, students will wear footwear at all times. It's right under head coverings.
On the old policy?
Mhm.
What page?
Number 2, the very top of page 2, but let me pull up the other one.
I'm looking at the one that the board approved. It's the draft, but it was the approved one.
Let me go on the website and see.
Oh, okay, it's not quite, okay, mine's on page 1. Unless the principal or designee indicates otherwise, students will wear footwear at all times.
Yeah, it's not overt.
Okay.
Yeah, this is the one. It's right here
Yeah.
for you. It's on page 1.
You're right. Okay, so I don't think there's a problem with people that need to wrap their foot or anything of that sort. Why does it not automatically make it bigger? There we go.
So is this live information? If I modify this, do I need to make a copy of it, or?
Mm-mm.
Okay.
Mm-mm. It's still, are you talking about the patron, the stakeholder input?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, you're good.
Okay.
Oh,
Cause
see
I
what
have to
Kelly
go
put
in and do a wrap, cause it doesn't wrap it like that,
Okay.
so, but nothing changes. I mean, unless obviously I deleted something, but. And I'm still accepting feedback on it.
Okay.
Okay.
But we haven't received anything for a while.
Yeah, I'm willing to move on. I mean, I am glad people provided input. I
Mhm.
think that's necessary.
Do you wanna make any changes to the draft policy, or do you wanna leave and then present it all to the board?
Well, given that the comments are all about, head coverings. Is that a hat or not a hat? Well, the board needs to decide how they want that worded.
And
then
skirts.
and skirts and
Yeah.
jeans.
Yeah, there's a few comments
Oh,
about,
and
yeah.
tank tops.
Skirts had 11
Mhm.
comments.
Did they?
Were you going in and color coding?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's perfect.
Thank you for doing
So I
that.
was trying to see, but now I'm trying to count them, but I don't know if it's smart enough to be able to count
The colors.
yeah.
So I think we should just leave it as is, because
Okay.
obviously the content of verbiage was fine.
Mhm.
It's just either they want more specificity with head coverings, the skirts, and I can respect that, yeah, I mean, a lot of skirts don't go down to the knees,
Mhm.
but, so does that mean they don't get to wear,
Right.
I'm all for a uniform. We would then find the right length of skirt. Oh, and I mean, yeah, make life easier for a lot of people. So,
So for policies, so we'll add student dress to our June 15th,
Yes,
and then
please.
we'll add the patron and feedback as well. So
Yes.
those will be attached together.
yeah.
Okay, perfect. So do we want to? The next one would be the 3285, which is relationship abuse and sexual assault prevention. And then Ramona, you asked me to make one copy of CDAs. Do you remember that?
Oh,
Their
that's what
procedure
I was
one.
reading.
So,
Which
sorry.
one are we, which one are we talking about?
3285, keep going, right there. So remember, we don't have this one.
Mhm.
There's the draft one, and then but Coeur d'Alene kind of wrote it out like in a procedural way, and you liked it, so
Oh, okay.
I copied theirs and just attached it off to the side.
Mhm.
So if I remember correctly, our conversation was, do we have to have 3285, or do we just have 3285P kind of be our 3285, and
Oh, yeah,
it's more
vaguely, right,
procedure
right.
based, so.
Well, I think you would need both, because in 3285P, it says outside the scope of
Mhm.
3085. So it's, yeah.
Yeah.
We would need both.
Yeah, I can go in and link those policies in once you guys say yay or nay or whatever.
Okay. So this is a 3285. Do we have, where's my? You know how when you get in your bed and you realize how exhausted you are because you've been sleeping so poorly?
Mm-hmm. Is that how you're feeling?
Yes. Okay, so 3285 is specific only to students and third parties.
or P?
85.
No. What are you doing? Can you scroll down a little
Yes.
bit? Something happened to mine that won't move.
So what you pulled off of Coeur d'Alene, this 3285P,
Mhm.
is actually at the bottom of
Right,
the
it's,
draft.
it's
Okay.
the optional one. I think they
Right.
added a little bit more, but maybe not. Student. Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty much verbatim.
I don't know where you're at, Michelle, but can we strike that, number 2 there, it says, no, not the whole thing, but the, just leave alleged perpetrator,
Okay.
cause it says the perpetrator or alleged perpetrator, well,
So it's this one.
yeah.
So ensuring that the complainant and alleged perpetrator do not share classes.
You can question if this has ever been an issue. Like I'm sure it has in other schools, but have we ever had this issue?
Have we?
I don't know,
Oh.
not to my knowledge.
Yeah, well, I don't know. We've had incidences.
We have?
I
Okay.
think all the,
Lisa discussed one. Go
Okay.
ahead.
yeah, I think all of those, I mean, it's just an allegation,
Right.
but it says perpetrator all the way through the thing. And actually that language is very old, they don't call them, well, at least that's my Title IX brain, they don't call them complainant and perpetrator. And I don't remember off the top of my head what they do call it, but. Can you put the word alleged in front of the word perpetrator and all of those?
No. Because this says such remediation during or following. So I would say disciplinary at the very top, go right there. Such remediation during or following an investigation may include. So disciplinary action against the perpetrator, or we can say alleged perpetrator if found guilty or whatever. But basically what this is saying is if there's an investigation and it's concluded that it actually happened, then we need, so maybe we need to figure out what that word is if it's
Do you
not
want me to just go
perpetrator.
ask roughly with that?
Sure. I mean, number 2 definitely, but the assumption, if there's disciplinary action, then they've obviously been found guilty. Because we're not going to discipline an alleged perpetrator because we would have no basis for that.
Well, we hope not.
Oh, I agree. And we wouldn't give counseling to the perpetrator if they're like, I didn't do it, so why would they need counseling?
Yeah,
They would have to be found guilty.
No, we have to do that under Title IX. I know it precludes and says if it's found not to be Title IX.
Right.
But I don't know why we would handle it. Yeah, I don't know. Respondent. That's the word.
Ah, that sounds familiar.
Yeah. Instead of perpetrator. But that's, I guess we can leave it. Because that is more the legal side of the
Okay, perpetrator
complaint.
is, okay, perpetrator is only down here in the bottom portion.
Mhm.
So, I don't have a problem changing these 5 perpetrators to respondents.
Well, they're not really alleged respondent.
Well, if there is a complainant, then
Right,
it would
it'd
be
be a
a
respondent.
respondent.
Right.
But if we're not calling them complainants, then they'd be accusers.
Yeah.
I mean,
That's fine, we'll just leave it. I understand why in the Title IX, because it is more of it's a legal action, and
Right.
that is what they are.
Right.
Yeah, that's, I'm looking up the, IDAPA rules, and that's what it still calls it, that
Mm-hmm.
perpetrator.
So,
it and complainant.
Yeah, we found it.
Oh.
And it makes sense in that
Sorry.
instance, but no,
You're
you're
good.
fine. It makes sense in that instance, but maybe not in this, because that is truly a legal.
Yeah. I didn't want to interrupt them, so I waited until she
Yeah.
started talking.
No, you're fine. Thank you.
This just bugs me. Imagine that. Okay.
Wish I had all that information with me. Lord help me.
Do you guys have graduation tonight?
Yeah,
Mhm.
Mountain View.
I'm so out of it this month. It's just, oh, I don't want it to be a strike through. Okay, thank you. I want it broken down this way so that,
Activist may include such remediation. So during and then following.
it just, it's something about the wording that's driving me crazy. Because to your point, Ramona, I want it to read that there's been found guilt.
Mm-hmm.
So,
I don't like the word such remediation. That's the part that I struggle with.
okay,
I don't know what goes better there though, but I mean, do you say following a verdict, following you know,
oh, I guess I should.
Outcome.
right.
Well, we can just say remediation during,
Yeah.
doesn't have to say such, format.
Or it can just say following the conclusion of an investigation.
Right.
Okay.
What does, the IDAPA rule, I guess I can pull it up. Let's see what that says.
Which one? The
The-
safe environment and discipline one?
Yeah, mm-hmm. This is the current rule.
orange 3281-3 talks about safe environment.
I don't know, just at the bottom it references IDAPA 080203-160, so I'm trying to see.
I'm trying to find it too.
Yeah, I mean, I've got it pulled up, but I'm trying to see exactly where, oh, here we go. Yep, 160, you're right. Well, that's not helpful at all. All it says is that you have policies that,
But it kind of lists out that you have to have the bullying, you have to have the harassment, you have to have the hazing.
right,
Yeah. The one I'm looking at kind of just reads that each district will have a comprehensive district-wide policy and procedure encompassing the following. So specific to some of your school climate and discipline, student health, violence prevention, possessing weapons, suicide prevention, student harassment, drug-free school zones, and evacuation drills, and then a relationship abuse and sexual assault prevention and response. And then it says it has to be an annual policy.
right, yep, these are what we have to review.
So on 3, I'm just trying to change the wordings so that it seems to flow better. But
Taken against perpetrator, confusion, provided for the perpetrator. Do you wanna change that perpetrator language or no? Training maybe
No.
students. Has been created within a particular grade level or an extracurricular team. That's perfect.
well, because I just don't want it to be sports, because what if something happens in FFA or
Totally,
you know.
drama or, yeah.
Exactly.
Training to assist victims of sexual violence. I'm not sure about 4. I feel like this would be out of the purview of counselors, school counselors.
Oops.
Number 4 in the first that,
No, if you scroll
Oh.
down a little bit more,
The other one.
yeah, right there. A counselor trained to assist victims of sexual violence. I mean, some of our counselors they have their licenses for that, but not all of them.
well, yeah, I don't know that, just says has access to. So, I think the community, if they're available in the community, somebody that the school or the counselor, whomever, can call upon, to assist, kind of situation.
This is appropriate.
An official statement will be issued acknowledging that the district will not tolerate and will respond to any incidents of sexual violence.
Now, the 5 through 10,
Mm-hmm.
I think that is something that needs to happen
That should be part of the
Regardless.
regardless.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So that's why I'm like, wait a minute, this is not good.
So it would be bystander, conducting bystander intervention and sexual assault prevention programs with students. What would that look like?
I have no idea.
So this is a guess on my part because I honestly don't know, but my assumption would be it's the, you know, you see something, say something kind of concept. You know, you get adults if there is an encounter that you're witnessing. Again, just advocating for kids to speak up and not keeping it quiet, but I don't know that there is a program.
Right.
Yeah, it's more of a see and say, you know?
Mm-hmm.
mean, I can reach out to some of the counselors and see if do they have a program, or is it more of, again, see and say?
Yeah.
'Cause it also says sexual assault prevention programs.
Right.
Do you want me to do some follow-up
Yeah.
specific to that?
Yeah.
Okay. So bystander intervention.
I'm just gonna tag you there just because my
Mhm.
brain will.
Nope, that's perfect. I typically do both. I take my notes, so I have my.
Yeah. What were the other ones we were gonna try and look at today? I guess I can go back to my email.
We can go, we have 32 or 3320 substance abuse.
Okay.
We have the restraint and seclusion one. I'm just going down the annual list still.
Okay. When was this seclusion? 2016.
So Michelle, since you're working on the optional, are we saying we're just gonna have a 3285 and have it be all encompassing and not do a separate 3285P
No, I think we can create this
based on?
3285P based on these corrections or these,
Yeah, okay.
I just didn't want to bounce back and forth
Yeah, no,
trying to
that
make
totally
sure.
makes sense. So once you finish this, then I'll take this whole part out and then transplant it to the other one.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
So do we know there's in 3320 directory, there's 2 ISBA models. Do we know that the modified or access or modified dates are fairly recent, but they're not, do we know which one is the most recent
I'll tell you right now.
one of those? Oh, so it looks like maybe we started modifying one at some point.
Are you doing 3320, the,
ISBA model 3320.
yeah, you guys started working on one, but this I think is the same draft
Okay.
of the 2019.
Okay.
Does that make sense? This is just the one you started messing with, is my understanding.
Yeah, I'm just trying to figure out why we have two, like did something change? Oh, maybe. Okay. So let's see, are they the same? I'm just gonna do this.
I'm gonna look on ISB and see if there's any updates to that one. But I didn't see any when I did it.
Okay, on the P number, the third group, number 5.
Where it says the school climate will be assessed.
Yeah, well, cause it was assessing the school climate to
Right.
determine whether the campus is free of sexual violence and determining what steps should be taken to address any problems. My problem is no one is gonna know if the campus is free of sexual
Right.
violence. So to change it to the school climate will be assessed to determine what steps should be taken to address any problems.
Perfect. Perfect.
Maybe we should say to address any problems related to relationship abuse and sexual assault prevention. Because that's what this policy is about, because
Right,
the school.
yeah, you could give more detail if you,
Yeah.
Okay, so they're, yeah, quite a bit different.
Are they, the 2019 is different than the draft that you guys
Yeah.
started working on?
Yeah, they're both, so yeah, the 2019 actually looks like it has more, it's more updated,
Than the one that Chrissy created initially,
yeah,
that you guys
yeah.
started working on, and I know this is the one Michelle has already started working on a little bit too.
Yeah. Oh man, I have such a headache.
Okay.
Start wearing a baseball hat. Keep all the light out of my eyeballs.
Sometimes it's this kind of lighting.
Yeah, it is.
Mhm.
I have no overhead light in my
Mhm.
house, and I work in a dark office with a desk lamp or sometimes a light behind me, but yeah. I shouldn't say I have no overhead light. It exists, but I don't use it.
So, I think.
So what was the other changes? Oh. What was that one in here?
Okay. So what I did was I just changed the, cause I don't know what, did they?
Looks like it.
So, yeah,
So can I take this entire optional, take it
Yeah.
off of here?
yep.
Okay, so then my next question for both of you. Okay, where does the optional start?
I took it off.
Oh, you already did it?
Well, yeah. If you go down to page 2,
Mm-hmm.
there you go. So I would think,
Where it says remediation is where it starts?
no, where it says draft. I'm highlighting it.
Oh. Oh,
Okay, so
the
there you go.
numbering was off for me.
Oh! Oh, it's just, yeah. I
Okay.
got a fancy computer. I don't have it.
So my question is I'll change this over to P, and then am I sending this out? I know you want me to do some follow-up specific to those 2 prevention programs.
Yeah.
Am I sending this out for parent input without that information? And then we'll look at that, and then whatever the feedback from the counselors are, do you want me to wait?
Well, I would say send it out.
Yeah,
Okay.
just go ahead
Yeah.
and send it out.
Can I send out both 3285
Yeah.
and P?
Yes,
Mhm.
please.
Okay.
Okay, so we've moved on to what was the next one?
Send to parent, the substance abuse.
The 3320.
Yep. You've already kind of started working on it.
Yeah, the newer one though has all that stuff in it anyways.
The 2019.
Yeah, so the other changes that were made in the older one that we started on, except for maybe, well, no, it didn't come up with that. So maybe we were
Okay.
trying to make one look like the more recent, I don't know what we were doing.
Well,
There's 2
what I did, 3320, I think was on an older one, and so I was bored and opened it up and was like,
Work.
yes.
Well, the 2019, I just compared the 2, I pulled the 2019 and
Okay.
the one, the only differences that came up,
Can I ask a clarifying question really fast?
Yeah.
Are we good with leaving, all of the cross-reference and legal references on 3285P?
We should be on 3285,
Okay.
yeah.
Do you want them on both or just 3285?
On both,
Okay.
yeah.
That's what I thought. Okay.
okay, so which one are, you gonna continue to work with, Michelle, which one are you on? Oh, just the regular draft.
I was looking at the regular draft because that was the one that I thought had everything merged. But I see
Okay.
that we have a 2013 by Chrissy and a 2019 by Janelle.
Right,
And I went off of the 2019 one.
yes.
You did. Okay.
So I,
So the draft was of the 2019.
Yes, but now I wanna double check that I did that right. I'm pretty sure I did, but I'll check. Just gonna take this
okay,
off.
so just to the draft, so I don't close this then. I wanna leave that,
'Cause there's a lot of blue,
so I wanna look at.
and this one doesn't have. Yeah, the 2019 doesn't have discipline on it.
So did I merge the wrong one accidentally?
I don't know.
Hold on, I'm trying to just multitask and this is, the lettering's off.
It's okay. Because you're sleepy.
Plus I'm sleepy. Okay, that makes me feel better. Okay, send to parents, let input. I'm just gonna go to the version that I started.
Oh. So it looks like ISBA has 2. Is it the same one?
What does 7 say here?
Oh, that's funny. It's in there twice. Okay. So there's no. That's interesting. We have I'm not sure where you got cause the blue is the blue
is the old one.
is our old policy.
Yeah,
Okay, okay.
I was getting confused, like I did take the 2019 cause all of that's the same, and then the discipline one is from our old policy. And remember, this policy hasn't been updated since 2013.
Right.
So that's where all that blue comes in.
Okay, so the blue is our old policy.
Mm-hmm.
You
That's
utilize
not
the
in
2019.
ISBA,
Okay. Yeah, because I just looked at ISBA's and I'm like, there's no discipline
Right.
on that one.
Yeah. So I
Um,
went off of the 2019 and I just looked, and that's the most recent one done. There isn't any additional updates to ISBA.
That's gonna drive me nuts. So my biggest problem with this policy was that we have drugs, we have controlled substances, we have,
Just interchanging names.
yeah, and so I think I personally wanna see us be consistent.
Yep, I agree.
And the policy is substance and alcohol abuse.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Call it what it is.
yeah. And if it's gonna be, if substance is actually controlled substance, then we should retitle it controlled substance.
Except that we mention homeopathic. So if a kid comes to school with some mullen because they got a chest infection, they're gonna be expelled, immediately suspended and then possibly expelled. I mean, to me, it's a little ridiculous.
Where's that on the homeopathic?
It's down underneath, when we're delineating under discipline, drug means, when we're given the definition, substances recognized as drugs in the United States, pharmacopoeia, official homeopathic pharmacopoeia of the United States, or official national formulary, or
Yeah.
any supplement.
But I don't know why we have discipline attached to this policy. We should just identify student discipline, which we do under
Right.
cross references.
Right.
So I don't even think it needs to be here. I think if we need to elaborate on what drugs or alcohol are, I mean, I have no problem giving definitions, but I
Right.
also don't think homeopathic pharmacopoeia.
You're feeling like the student discipline policy covers that.
It should.
That's what you're saying, right?
Everything should fall back to that one
Well, and
policy.
if you remember, we really talked about not cross-referencing as much as we possibly can, so letting it be a standalone doc and you can
Correct.
reference it, but we're not having
Yeah, we can't.
paragraphs in each.
No, we can't break down discipline for this to be different than what our student discipline is, and it's
So we said we'd reference
Yeah.
it and then you go to that policy.
Correct.
But everything is encompassed in that policy.
correct. Hello, you got a haircut? It looks very pretty.
When you have a moment, can I chit chat with you?
Me? Oh, sure. Not a worry, not a worry.
Do you guys have a specific timeline today? When you have to be done? I asked because I do, so.
Perfect. What time do you need to be done? 9 o'clock?
Well, I would love to touch base with the two of you about some action follow-up steps specific to some curriculum stuff, and then I'm meeting with a patron about some of the iReady material that he reviewed at 12. So I just I want to be able to just get some guidance from you two before I meet, if that's okay. So we want to say if you
We
have
can
to
stop if we want, because I'll just get going to town on this one, and then, you know, we'll be at
Okay.
12:30, 1 o'clock if you want.
Do what?
What?
You'll be at 12:30.
I said, I'll get you going on this one.
Oh, okay. I'm totally lost now.
I'm just like, I don't want to be here till 1 o'clock.
Well, and you just said you have this meeting at noon, but she's gonna go to 12:30 or 1. I'm just like,
I just want some guidance so
Yeah.
that I'm
sure.
yeah.
Shall I stop recording?
Yes, we can go ahead and stop recording.
Okay.